next 10, what do you think that means? Savings and investment. That's correct. Savings and investment. And the 80 is what?
Leftovers.
Yeah, leftovers. It's basically your other resources you have, the remaining resources, the other 80%. Now let's talk a little bit about tithe. Now we know that 10% is God's requirement as far as when you ask for resources. But the life choices and reality, sometimes we're unable to pay the tithe. Now, there is a direct tie between being obedient to God and the blessings that He'll bestow in your life. But for your brothers that are not able to do it at this point, what I want to encourage you is to put it in your heart that you want to tithe and give to God. And if you have it in your heart that you want to give, God will provide the knowledge, the wisdom, understanding, and the provision to get to that point where you can give your 10% to receive those blessings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, we'll talk just a little bit about savings. I'm going to keep everything on a high level. I'm going to get too detailed with some things. I'm going to keep it very basic just to give you some principles. Now, savings. We can talk about saving money all day. It's all kind of different ways to do it. But there's 3 things that we should save money for. And I want to share this. So write these 3 things down, brothers. First, we need to save money for emergencies. Emergencies. Okay? The next thing we need to save money for is purchases. Buying things, purchases. The third thing we should save money for is wealth building. Wealth building. Okay? Now, as far as emergencies, I want to encourage you guys. If your brothers make a little bit more than 25 grand or more, at least starting off initially, make sure you have at least $1,000 set to the side in savings. If you don't have it, try to make that a focus, put $1,000 aside. Because as you start getting the game plan together for your money, as things start happening, you got to have a little buffer between you and life. If you know tires get flat, all things go out, things happen in life. So if you have a plan, you work your plan with the 80%, something comes at you, this little savings, emergency fund, kind of keep things off of you a little bit. If you make less than $25,000 or you're a student, try to get at least $500 to set to the side. So that way you kind of handle things that might come at you along the way. As far as purchases, I want to encourage you, brothers, to try not to be too compulsive with your spending. If you see something you really like, just make sure it's in line, you have a plan for it. Don't rush to buy some things. We want to be careful using credit cards and things that they should buy things on either side. So we just want to be very cautious with unnecessary purchases. If you got something, you see something you want, you have the money allocated, it's okay to go buy some nice things. Just make sure we don't want those nice things to have you. Now, what?
Here. You know, when James introduced me about being a coach, he didn't say anything about my playing days at Mississippi State. And you guys who looked at me, you just knew I was an athletic. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. I got an intramural league right here. Don't tell me it's an intramural league.
Yes, sir.
I want to know, does James play in the intramural league?
He stopped a couple years ago.
He'd never pass it, would he? He wanted to pass it all the time, I bet, all right? But you got to be unselfish. But, you know, my playing days at Mississippi State, this is true. You know, I was there. This is a true story. Senior night. You can picture it. We're playing Florida. I hadn't gotten in the game yet. I was in this fraternity at Pike. I was a Pike at Mississippi State, about 8,000 people at Humphrey Coliseum. It was like I think it was like a March 2nd, March 3rd, Saturday afternoon TV game. It got to be about 4 minutes in the game. And all of a sudden, my little pals up there, they started going, "We won't Kermit. We won't Kermit." You know, I'm sitting on the bench, got my shooting shirt off, hadn't played. And all of a sudden, in the crowd, they just kind of got going, you know. And my coach was 5 points. I said, "God, sure he's going to play me on senior night." We hadn't played me about 4 or 5 games. And then the crowd, "We want Kermit. We want Kermit." And the whole thing got to about a minute, 15 seconds. And all of a sudden, Coach Boyd just says, "Kermit, come here." I just ripped my shooting shirt and I went right over there and ran. I said, "Yeah, Coach." He said, "You get up there and just see what the heck they want." Right there, that's how my illustrious career is, right there, all right? I promise you. So, sometimes they say that coaches are better players, they're better coaches than United good players. So, if that's true.